We are live.
Good evening, everybody. Aradhana Tiwari from Be the Change Page, the founder of Be the Change Page, Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, Empowering Coach, and your friend to take today's talk show with our amazing guest, Bhagya Lakshmi. And I will say a bit about her a little later, but I just wanted to let you know what this Be the Change Page is. Be the Change Page is an invitation to introspect yourself and you be the walking, talking change that you truly be. So this page invites you to be you and to change the world, as we always say, and to acknowledge the change that you are. So we post a question every morning here on this page, on all the pages of Facebook, on the Insta, on the WhatsApp, on Telegram. You can connect to us anywhere. And that simple question allows you to introspect yourself. It's empowering question which only you can answer for you, nobody else can answer for you. And while having the awareness to those questions, you get to know that you knew everything and you had been looking for all that outside you. And this talk show, what I get here every Sunday, is an invitation for you guys to see how people who followed their heart, who have been following their heart, who have been acknowledging the change they are and not trying to fit into this world as others are doing, have made a change, and what invitation can they be. So I just invite them here on this platform every Sunday from various facets of life, and they come, they share what they know about life, and it's amazing how while they're talking, our worlds melt. And today I'm really, really excited to invite a very, very, very dear friend, mentor, senior, and I'll say I just love her. I really don't have words to really, really express because no words can really express her. She's always one who chose the untrodden path. Bhagya Lakshmi has always been willing to explore possibilities. Her quest for something more that she knew existed led her to explore several modalities of energy healing, all of which have worked beautifully for her in their own way. She has been an Access Consciousness certified facilitator since 2013. She's also a Talk to Entities facilitator. She has her own Access Consciousness specialty class called The Artless Art of Allowance. As a certified life coach and alternative healer, she is busier now than ever before, conducting workshops, telecalls, and doing personal one on one sessions. She also enjoys being a speaker on various platforms, including international telesummits. Bhagyalakshmi continues to forge a new path for herself with tremendous enthusiasm and eagerness to learn, grow, and help anyone along the way with a generosity of spirit such as is rarely seen in the world today. So it's my pleasure to invite Bhagyalakshmi here on this platform. Bhagyalakshmi, Murli, can we have you here on the screen, please? Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for
Sounded like a
saying
nice
yes. Thank you
person.
for being on this platform. How did this platform get so lucky to have you here? Thank you, Bhagya.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me with you, Aradhana, and for, you know, inviting me to be a part of your show. I'm very grateful to you. Very grateful.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. And I have learned so much along with you. I have learned allowance with you. I have learned many more other aspects of my life over the journey of last 6, 7 years in Access. And as I was talking to you before this, how you are the epitome of allowance. You have the epitome of the killing energy with the kindness you truly be. And as when I was laughing with Bhagya that, killing energy, and Bhagya was like, killing energy, me. I was like, people misinterpret what killing energy can be, and she can be so kind and sweet and yet be killing at the same time. So we will explore that on our journey of today's talk here. But I would like Bhagya to start her life journey. Where did she start it? Bhagya, where did you start? Have your childhood? How was your childhood? And how you are what you are today? And what made you actually acknowledge the change and the difference that you be and follow your heart?
Yeah. Yeah, like killing energy, me, I have no clue what you're talking about. Yeah. Uh, I was the youngest of 5 children. And um, so I grew up in a big family where, you know, you just get lost because everybody is so busy with their own lives. But I found a friend. I found many friends in books, and I have been a voracious reader all my life. And the books that I chose to read were not just story books; they were biographies and lives of other people. And I grew up pretty much being compared with my sisters, prettier. Okay, so they would see me with my mother and say, "Your daughter? She doesn't look like your daughter," because I'm more like my father. So talk like that could be quite devastating for a child. When you're compared with your siblings and or not like your mother because the color of your skin is several shades darker, or the gap in your teeth can be something that school friends or not really friends make fun of. So I would look at Lal Bahadur Shastri. Say he's a short man, but he's a great man. I would read about Lincoln. He was supposed to be one of the ugliest people on the planet, but he was a great statesman. So I would tell myself, okay, so what else is possible? I cannot change the color of my skin. I cannot change my height. I cannot change my teeth. So what else is possible? So I've pretty much lived with this question, Aradhana. I wonder what else is possible.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. So I wanted to
Yeah.
study journalism. My father put his foot down, both feet down, and he said, "No, I don't want you interviewing people and all that." And in the days that I was growing, you did not talk. You did not talk back to your parents. So you didn't tell. Journalism just doesn't mean uh, interviewing people. There is a lot behind journalism, and I'm extremely fond of writing. So I said, okay, so what else is possible? And I chose literature. And that contributed in its own way to my life. I was a lecturer in English. And so you never allow anybody to stop you.
Wow.
When you are
And
unstoppable,
yeah.
nobody and nothing stops you. You just uh, make course corrections.
So you have
So
to have
I
within you spirit.
yes. Yes. Now this is a great thing what you have said. Most people look for help outside. It's always like somebody else who can help you. Not that your parents are unkind, but they have so much to do. So instead of going and tapping them and tell, I'm like feeling really bad, somebody said to me. So you choose to go within. And when you choose to go within, you find a reservoir of strength and courage.
Could
That
you
is all.
talk more about how to go in, like, young children, how young kids go in? I mean,
Yeah.
everybody, kids want to be out and having fun and then being
Yeah.
compared, and how beautifully you brought up. And I think, including me, everybody, of a lot of us kids have gone through that comparison, that stuff, and we have kind of created our worlds from that space.
Yes.
So, how was that you were so vigilant and present that you could go in at that age?
When there is nowhere else to go, you go within. But
Wow.
it's not that there is no one to go to. It's just that you realize that you don't need to go out for something that you can deal with yourself. So when they made fun of my teeth and the gap between my teeth, I used to just tell them, my mom says that whoever has gap in the teeth is very lucky. So
That's true.
it is so you turn it around. So the willingness to see yourself, not from the ego or from your headspace, like, okay, so I'm first in class, so what are you going to do? Not like that. From a space of, if I can find the strength within me to do this, to be like this, what would my life be like? So when I was walking up the steps to get my medal as a university rank holder, at that time nobody was laughing. So I said, I can't look like my sister, I can't be like her, I can't be like them, but what else can I do? So I chose to put all of my energies on my academics, and excelled and excelled and excelled. And not with an intention to compete. I don't personally believe in the concept of competition, because I could stand on my head 7 days. I cannot be Aradhana, right? I can only be Bhagya. And if that is who I came here to be, why would I want to be somebody else?
So beautiful. I love
So
that.
the
Yes.
willingness to recognize, the willingness to acknowledge that you have not been put on the planet just like that. Okay, it's like, okay, so he made Aradhana Tiwari on a day that he was like really free, so pretty, and then on one of his overtime days he made Bhagya and sent her off. It's not like that. It's not like that कि किसी किसी को फुर्सत से बनाए, किसी किसी को जल्दबाजी में बनाए. So the willingness to know that, okay, so what is there in you that you can tap into, that you can expand, that you can explore, that can be a contribution not only to your life but to the lives of other people as well. So
So, so how
every
did your
child,
studies? Yeah. So how did that studies, like when you excelled into it, how did that kind of contributed in your life further? So
yeah,
like,
so
of course,
well, then they spoke very proudly of their child who was like doing extremely well. Okay, but I didn't do extremely well so that they would be proud of me. I looked at what I could change, for myself and for the way people perceived me, right? So the willingness to recognize that there is always something. When you asked me to be a part of your show, I was delighted. I love the name of your show. You say,
thank you.
be the change. So most people are looking to change others, to change their circumstances, to change their situations, to change their finances, which involves doing something. But you cannot have something without doing something. But you cannot do something without being that. So skipping steps just gives the illusion of speed. So you'll do, but not be. And you have to know that whatever you choose to be, from that space, when you create, it is very different.
That's so,
I'm not able to attend the shows, but the other day I happened to just be there for a few seconds when Kiran Bhabi was with you. And she said something so wonderful that I called her up later and I said, you know what? I was there for a moment and I applaud you for saying that. She said, play with the tools.
true.
Most people don't play with the tools. They want to check it out. They want to test it.
Yeah. I know she called me and she was really overwhelmed and she was like, wow, that was so beautiful that Bhagya called me. And I was also pretty honored by that. Thank you so much. So also coming from there, Bhagya, I mean, what do you know about life? I mean, you know so much. I would like you to share some tips of yours. Like I know you've always been very present, aware from your childhood, and you have always lived in question. And that's when you got into access consciousness also, and you have become a certified facilitator with them. And access kind of supports you, empowers you with the question all the time. It never says do this, do that.
Yeah.
It also invites you in. And how beautiful is that, that we all have been living from that question, but we got to acknowledge that we have been living from the question. So having done said that, done, but I'm sure you have been always aware and you have been present. What do you know about life? Could you please share that with us?
Most people spend a lot of time looking for the meaning of life, the purpose of life. There is no set purpose or definite meaning to life. You give meaning to your life. Each one does
Wow.
that for themselves.
Wow, that's
The
amazing,
meaning that
guys. You
you bring, the purpose that you choose is your purpose, is the meaning that you give to life. So, in a world that is obsessed with um, with things, the bigger the car, the bigger the house, the bigger the bank balance, the bigger, you know. So, this is what I know, Aradhana, that someday I will go, and when I do, I'm not taking the car, the house, the bank balance, or the many books that I love so much.
are you sure you're not gonna take them?
None of them. What I'm going to be taking, and what everybody does when they do go, is their unresolved emotions, the traumas that they have held within them, the thoughts, feelings, emotions, the belief systems that they made significant enough. That is what goes. So, if that is what goes with people, does it not make sense to resolve them here and now, to take
Yeah.
care of them here and now, to destroy and uncreate those that need to be destroyed and uncreated now, so that you travel lightly through life? Not only
Wow.
that, when you clear these blocks, these unresolved things, I'm not talking about the afterlife, I'm talking about in this life itself. When you clear this most garbage that is occupying space, you clear it, you make space, you create space for your desires, you create space for the life that you want, you create for the things that you would like in your life. You have to make space for them. So often on my Friday calls and my other calls, I say, like, how big a container are you willing to be for all of what you're asking for? You can't be like this much and ask for infinite, you
So
know.
what is it that you know? Why do people create this crap? Why do the people create all this? And why do the people hold? What is your knowing to that?
um, because the rightness of their point of view is more important than their happiness. I can
Wow.
never forgive this, okay? I will never forget it. I will never forget what you did to me. Like, really? What good is it going to do holding on to it? So, the willingness to let go is a strength that all of us have. But choosing to let go or not, that is a different thing altogether. It's a choice. So, the reference points are there. There is a reason for that, Aradhana. So I am holding on to this. The objective is I don't want to recreate this again. I don't want to be hurt ever again. But the very fact that that energy is sitting there is not just sitting idle.
True that.
So it just grows back up and it is like a recurring pattern. And I was talking with somebody else the other day, and you are very dear to me, so I don't mind sharing that with you also. I go through challenges every now and then. I hit my toe hurts, this happens, that happens. I had a fall, I twisted my ankle, all of that. But nobody knows that. I don't ask for energy contribution. Do this for me. I don't ask. Is it because I'm like superior? No, there is a reason for that. So everything in life is something that we create. Now, if I have created this, I need to go to the core, the bottommost layer of this and clear it. That is my work. Now, when I say, Aradhana, will you send me some energy contribution? You will definitely send me some energy contribution. Everybody will. So it's like a band-aid. And there is ease, so we forget about it. Okay, chalo, kaam ho gaya.
No, but I have a different viewpoint there. I
Yeah,
just feel that,
no, definitely. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
I
So
just
what
feel that
I'm
everybody contributes you to make it easier for you to dig in faster. I had this
you,
point
you
of view
as
too
an
earlier.
infinite being, you as an infinite being are the sum total of all energies.
True,
Everybody, everything is a part of you.
true.
You're never disconnected. You cannot separate. So
You
from
mean you
that
quietly pull us?
space, pardon?
I was just laughing with you. I was like, you mean you quietly pull energies from us?
No, I am willing to be the
Good to
energy
see.
that receives.
I know. I have to
And
pull you
I'm
now.
willing to be the energy that takes care of whatever it is. It just means probably that my body would like a little bit more rest. I'm not giving it the rest it requires. It has to force me to sit quietly in one place. And then, even then, she doesn't sit quietly. She will sit on the bed and do the calls because she can't walk. Yeah, like that. So I said, that willingness to be unstoppable, no matter what shows up, is a strength
So how,
everybody has.
yeah, so how did you like coming from your household, working, getting married to a man who you loved, who you cared, and then from your basic life to a coach, life coach? Can we have a little bit of that journey, how it brought up
Yeah,
and how
so
you
I got married when I was 31. Like by that time, like everybody thought I was on the shelf gathering dust, because in our communities marriages happened like very early. My mother used to say, बहुत पढ़ा दिया इसको तुमने, बाकी को जल्दी जल्दी क्या वैसे करना चाहा था, like that. You left it too late, made her study a lot. You should have got her married when she was much younger and things like that. But I didn't want to get married just for the sake of getting married. And ironically, my husband, Murli, never wanted to get married either. He used to say it's easy to get married, it's difficult to stay married. So he didn't want to get married. I didn't want to get married just because. So when they were like, let's see, let's go, let's find, let's do this, let's do that, the elders in the family. I was born and brought up in a house that was 5,000 square feet. And it had a huge terrace. I spent a lot of time there. So I would just sit there quietly and I would say, look, if you're listening to me, whoever it is up there, if it has to be this marriage or whatever, find me someone that I can respect. Find me someone that I can look up to.
wow, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. Thank you for
So
sharing that.
when Murli asked my father for my hand, and he said, only her books, because she'll not come without them on her. He's not taken even a matchstick from my father. My father said, really? I didn't know people like this existed.
How did you meet
And for
Murli?
someone, he was a friend of a friend.
So
The
the
family.
universe helped you.
Yes, the universe listened and responded beautifully.
Wow.
And not only that, it is so interesting um, that for someone who was not wanting to get married because it's easy to get married and difficult to stay married, we've been married for 35 years. We've been
Wow.
together for
Wow.
35
How
years.
does it get any better?
Yeah. And we started as good friends and we continue to remain good friends.
That is
And
so.
he is allowance personified also. He says, do whatever makes you happy.
So, what is the key to
But
that good relationship of 35 years? Can we have some?
so he also used to do a lot of counseling and all that earlier, Aradhana. Not, not doing it right now, but he would take a piece of paper. He's a very good artist, so it's always paper and pencil for him. He draws a circle like this. I'm just showing it to you because I can't show it otherwise. It's circle. This is one person. This is the other circle. Two circles. We're coming together like this. Okay, so this bit is the time together, but the remaining is each one's space.
Wow.
So we have to respect space, each other's space. So as a family, we are extremely close, all three of us. But the moment we finish our food, lunch, dinner, breakfast, or whatever it is, each one of us will go to our spaces. And we are there, like just, you know, a call away when we need each other. But for the pretty much for the most part, it's honoring each other's space.
So, how about
So
how would you say around how people are these days, especially in this age? It's all about extramarital affairs, people looking outside, not being happy with each other, in spite of the space they've been given. And could you talk a bit? Could you put some light? Because I love to have such things from you all who have been living such amazing relationships for a long while, and wonder what
yeah,
contribution can that.
definitely. So you know, and most people on the call will also probably know that the foundation for a good relationship, foundation for all relationships, begins with our relationship with ourselves. The honor, trust, vulnerability, gratitude, and allowance has to be there for oneself first. If that is not there, then it's like trying to build a skyscraper without even a proper foundation. It crumbles and falls all around. So
So,
when we
what would
do not,
that be in a layman's language? Like, if
yeah,
people
be
get what
willing
that.
to, yeah, be willing to love yourself. Be willing to appreciate yourself. Be willing to acknowledge yourself. When you don't do that, you become needy. You become needy for it to come from someone else because you've not given it to you. So you're needy for that to come from outside. And when it doesn't show up, then you try to find somebody else
It is so
who will
boring to give
fill
it
in
to
that.
yourself, Bhagya.
I beg your pardon?
I said the most people answer this. This is so boring to give it to your own self. What do you mean give it to yourself? Love yourself. Then, I mean, how do I have a partner if I have to love myself, do everything on myself? That's not fun.
No, I would agree to disagree on this one.
Yeah, I that's what I want you to say and talk about because that's what most
Yeah.
of the.
So now, um, if you want a fruit tree, you have to be willing to sow the seed, right? The seed that you sow will give you more fruits than you can count, but that seed has to go into the ground first. So when you say it's boring to give to yourself, that only means that you have never given it to yourself, so you don't know what it means to give to yourself. On so many of my calls, let me tell you this. There was a dean of a management college who once came to me for some counseling. This is long before Access. And so I just asked him, so how much do you love yourself? He's like, what? I thought we have to love other people have to love us, but nobody said anything about loving yourself. I said, you cannot give what you don't have. You can only give what you have. So, uh, so loving others becomes so much more joyful when you love yourself first.
True.
Nurture yourself, take care of yourself. Okay. So, how do we do that? I said, okay, let's just have a small exercise here. I want you to hold yourself like this. Close your eyes and put your attention on your heart. Feel the love. Feel the love that you have, loving you in this moment. And when you feel like it, you may gently release. Did it feel better?
Very nice.
Yeah. For him, he says, my hands are not coming off.
Yeah.
I
It's
said, for
tough.
the first
It
time,
was tough for me too.
for the first time, your body has finally received something without which it was working for you endlessly. But this will help. So, loving yourself is easy when you respect yourself. Respecting yourself is easy when you trust yourself. Trusting yourself is easy when you are not in judgment of yourself, when you are in allowance of yourself. And being in allowance is easy when you have gratitude for yourself. If you are grateful for yourself, then all of the other things will not be difficult.
Yeah,
You know, when people, whoever said so boring, if they were to realize that there is nobody on the planet like them, Aradhana, they're unique, one of a kind, limited edition बोलते हैं ना, just one person
true.
on the planet. Even if they're twins, you see differences. You know, they are not exactly alike. There wasn't anybody like them before, and there never will be anybody like them after. In this time space reality, they are the only one like them. If people were to recognize their uniqueness, would they then not be able to love themselves?
Totally. Truly.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful, Bhagya. And unfortunately, how we have been brought up in this reality with our parents, it's not, I'm saying it's the fault of any parent or every parent brings up there. It's with the best of interest and best of whatever is available. Yet this whole comparison, competition with the world, and how to be an allowance at this stage of your life when you're having this information coming out from your mouth, like, love yourself. I remember when I first time started, asking this question of loving myself, and they said, look inwards. It was funny. I was to like pick up my t-shirt. Do I look inwards where? What do you mean love myself? It took me years to get to that how. I love myself, have allowance for myself. And I remember 2 years I have been working with you for the allowance. Every time calling up, Bhagya, what's going on, and amazingly, you have always facilitated so beautifully. And the generosity you have of like calling everyone, being with them, and in the hard times and everything. How to instill that in the world? Like, I know it's being you. That's when I say it's being you and changing the world. And if you move with that spirit, and like seeing you, I've learned so much.
Thank
Other beings, I've learned so much. It's when you walk that talk, it just changes. So what else can be done here where people have actually being on the stage today if they're hearing it for the first time and they want to love themselves? And I know you gave those 5 things of honoring, trust, gratitude, and allowance. And first thing first, again, I will talk about allowance here. How to have allowance for what you have created until today. So if you can get one line, because you have this beautiful class, Bhagya does, is Art of Allowance. Anybody who's not done and who doesn't know what allowance is in a doormat, you must attend her classes. She is amazing. She's a pataka, I must say. In my terms, I call her pataka. Yeah, Bhagya. So what would you like to say on that?
It is very easy to blame somebody for something or other.
True that.
And not without justification, perhaps, because that's how they brought you up. So they brought you up the way they were brought up. They did what they knew, what was done to them. So I feel that up till the age of 17, you can pretty much blame everybody for everything, for what
I've
they
grown.
did, what they didn't do. Okay?
I'm sorry, I said I've grown much older, so I can't blame. Give me some other
So
tool. Yeah,
at 18, when you get your license, at 18, when you get the right to vote for your country, you need to take responsibility for your life. And you see what they taught you and check, does it feel light? Does this work for me? Is this how I would like to be? Is this how I would like to do things? If yes, great. If not, change it. So you realize that this is your life. You get to choose how you choose to live it. If I had not made those choices, Aradhana, nobody was there at this time. There was no facilitation, no nothing, nothing, nothing. So I was like I said, if there's nobody else there, then you have to look within, right? Yes, of course. How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, and all of those books and all that helped tremendously. Okay. But the fact still remains that after you read the book, you have to apply it. Like Albert Einstein said, in his wisdom, applied knowledge is wisdom. So knowing everything is no good if you're not applying it, right?
beautiful,
So once you realize that, okay, they said this to me, this is not how I would choose to be, you get to change it. Or we can just play that blame game forever and be in the rut. Nothing is going to change unless we choose change. Sometimes you're forced to change if we don't choose it happily. But the fact still remains that you are in the driver's seat of your life after 18. You need to be the one to direct the course of your life.
beautiful.
So you're talking to a 66-year-old person who's been on this planet for 66 years. But most of the time, I'm like a 6-year-old. That sense of wonderment, the sense of curiosity, the sense of that willingness to explore possibility is there. So every age that you have been, every year that you have lived, they're all within you. ऐसा नहीं कि अभी 66 or 65 went away. They're all within you. And you get to compensate for, John Gray said something, how to, men are from Mars and women are from Venus person. He said, there are like cylinders: infancy, childhood, adolescence, teenage, young adult, adult, middle age, like that, each cylinder. So every cylinder needs to be filled at that point in time. So when that childhood thing is not filled, the young adult would look to her husband to fill that for her because
Okay.
somebody else didn't do that. But that's not his job. That's not his responsibility either. So the best thing is you get to fill it up no matter where you are. You
True.
didn't get enough drawing books to color, get it now. You didn't get to learn to sing for whatever reason, join and do it now.
It's
So
never too
what
late.
I am asking and I am requesting of everybody, have your own back. Be there for yourself. When you are there for yourself, the entire universe will be there for you.
That is so beautiful. And that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true, Bhagya. I totally acknowledge that. And
Mm.
I really wanted to bring little humor to this whole fact that how I remember when you got into Access, you never touched non-veg, right? So
No,
can we talk a
no,
bit about that?
yeah,
And
no, that's not how it is. I was born in a non-vegetarian community. Okay, except Saturdays when mom didn't make. So pretty much lived on non-veg for the first 30 years of my life. So I was a non-Brahmin who married a Brahmin. And Murli has an incredible sense of humor. He says there are 3 states of ego: I, Iyer, and Iyengar. He's an Iyengar. But if you ask him, he will say, I'm just a human being on this planet. Okay. So he had to actually give up his family because they were not happy about him marrying out of the community.
Oh, wow.
35 years ago, this was unheard of. My father told me, हमारे खानदान में ऐसा कभी हुआ नहीं. In our family, this kind of thing has never happened. I will check with the astrologer. If he says yes, then I will agree. Otherwise, not. I said, do whatever. Whatever. So he went to the astrologer. The astrologer says, are you kidding me? I mean, he didn't use this term, but he said, even if God came down, he cannot separate these two. They were meant to be together.
Um,
So I thought if somebody can give up everything for me, he said, you can bring it and cook and all that. I won't eat, but you're welcome to do that. That is the level of allowance this man had. But I thought, well, if he can give up his family for me, can I not give up non-veg?
that was just catch. I didn't know that story.
So for the next almost 30 years, I didn't even have cake that had egg in it.
Mm, that's
Okay.
beautiful.
I loved eggs, but I didn't have it. I was more Brahmin than most Brahmins are. But then we were in Australia. Sudha and I used to travel together, stayed together. Also, we had a suite in Mantra, and so Mululaba in Australia. So she had gone, bought groceries and stuff like that, and I would let her have her bath first, because just like that. And then after she finished, I would go. So when I came out of my bath, before we went for the class, she said, Bhagya, I boiled an egg for you. And it was like,
That's so cute.
so I felt like, okay, so if I've denied this for whatever reason, okay, so if that's what my body wants, I will have it. So not that I have a non-veg regularly or eggs even now regularly, but it was not like I don't touch this kind of a thing.
That's
It's an
oh,
interesting
that's
story I have about how powerful our thoughts are, Aradhana.
yeah,
We had
please
been
share.
married for about a year, and Murli had a touring job. And he used to travel extensively and be away for a long time. So once when I was at that time 35 kgs. Okay. So I went to get some vegetables, and the vegetable vendor said, "Your dad hasn't come with you today." That's great. What's he talking about? My father hasn't come here for a long time. Then I suddenly realized he thought that Murli was my father because he had gray hair. So I corrected him hurriedly. I said, "No, that's my father's son-in-law." He was very apologetic about it.
That is so cute, Bhagya.
And then I thought to myself, I wonder, it would be so nice if my hair also turns gray, so at least I look like Mrs. Murli. And within a year, Aradhana, my hair had turned gray.
Wow.
Within a year. I'm
Wow.
the youngest and most gray in my family.
No, you
But look
asked
at
for
the
it.
interesting bit, okay? This is where it gets really interesting. That was probably not what my body desired. So over the top, it's all gray, but if you look beneath,
Yeah.
it is still black. It was still black.
Wow.
So that's how powerful our words and our thoughts are.
That's so
So when you
amazing.
ask for something, guess what? It shows up.
It shows up.
So we need to be very, very, very conscious of what we ask.
Yeah. That's so beautiful.
Yes.
It's
So
amazing.
that's the story about the non-veg bit.
Non-veg. So now you eat, or at times.
Rarely,
What would you like to say
prefer
about
to.
it? How would you like to say put for people who are very confused in India, especially to
Hmm.
eat veg or non-veg, and what would you be there say about it? Because people do
No,
eat
see,
it and
since
then they have the guilt of eating it, and they want to eat it and don't want to eat it. Eat
yeah,
it. Can you say a bit about it?
we need to check with the body. Body, what would you like to eat? And if it even when you go to a hotel and all that, now most people don't because of the pandemic, but the first thing that your eye sees on the menu card is what your body wants. Most times people override it, of course, but so when we check with the body, what do you require, what do you need, what would you like me to have, it'll tell you what to have. And since it is your body and you're feeding it, you might as well listen to it, right? It has to process everything for you.
That's so
So
sweet.
the
How sweet.
connection with the connection with our bodies is very, very, very important. Most people are disconnected with their bodies because there is so much judgment. They don't realize standing in front of the mirror, if they say, oh, this is too much, this weight and that weight, or whatever they're judging is actually going to increase because they're putting their attention and energy on that. So
I'm, I'm already fried, Bhagya. Your presence fries me.
I'm sorry.
But I'm so grateful for this whole conversation going on. And it's like also I wanted to know a bit about how would you say for people who are like with this pandemic thing, going into depressions, getting into, panic, and also a lot of people getting to suicidal modes because of the money, because of the extra XYZ factors. What would you like to say here? And how did and also another question I have with you is how access shifted your life? Like how is it different than what it was before? So what did access add to your life, and what would you like to say around this pandemic thing going around?
So access um, has allowed me to have as much fun as I like to have with life. Okay. Um, I do have a sense of humor and I like to
I
laugh.
know
I
that.
like to
I
have
know that.
fun. So the fun element has been strengthened here. Okay. The other thing is um, the tools of access consciousness are simple, very practical, very pragmatic, very usable, doable. But the transformation that they can bring about, if used consistently, is nothing short of magic and miracles. Now, um, people say, yeah, I used the tool, but it didn't work for me. So we need to practice using the tools. Now, when you talk of depression and the panic and the fear, that is the prevailing energy right now. The most predominant energies are that depression, fear, panic, sadness, overwhelm. So when somebody feels any of these, they need to check, is this really mine, or am I picking this up from somewhere around me? Now, the important thing is to realize that this is created by us because of the way people have chosen to live. You know, this is actually my pet topic. We can sit here all night long and talk about it. So I'll be as quick as I can. Like, we are a part of that circle of life. Every species, every other species is a part of that as well. So what humans decided was to take over the world. Okay. And they stepped from the circle into the middle of the circle and said, like, everything is mine. And I don't need any other species. They can all go. So this pandemic is to put us in our place as a part of the circle. We cannot be apart from it. So just a very tiny virus was enough to mess with everything that we chose to do, or whatever we thought we were like. We owned the planet, right? So we need to make lifestyle changes. So what do I mean by lifestyle changes? What does not work now? We have to see what that is. We have to be more particular about our own health and well-being. When the immune system is working well, viruses may come, and even that cold ka jo virus hai jo, it's not like these germs come in November and go in February. Germs are there around us all the time. But when our immune systems are working optimally, then we don't feel anything because it takes care of everything. But when the immune system is compromised in its functioning, anything, somebody might sneeze in like 10 feet away and somebody gets a cold. Okay. So what messes up with the immune system? Any kind of stress. So even when people talk of management colleges and this, that, and all, there is stress management. You cannot eliminate it. So you have to be willing to manage the stress without distress. Okay, so this is what it is. What can I choose? What can I do? What else is possible here? So when we begin to step out of our minds, the answers are there.
Beautiful. I know, I totally get you. And that is so beautiful. And it's just a choice away again. I mean, stress is also a choice. Not
Yes.
many people are willing to acknowledge that. And they're like, stress is my part of my life, which is like funny. 25 years back, I remember I was standing in one of the, uh, this spiritual home, and they were talking that after 20-25 years this whole thing will be a pandemic, and there will be a stress will be a new disease. And I was laughing, and I'm like, what is stress? I mean, I didn't even know. I'm like, really, stress and depression can be a big sickness? But it is so true now after 25 years down the line, which I so see. And now even if you talk to people, they say like, that's part of us, you don't understand, you don't get it.
Yeah.
So What I've observed is people don't like to have easy life. They want to make it complicated. So that's a self-chosen path that everybody's choosing and creating. So how to have that allowance for oneself and allowance for others to let them choose, even in your loved ones. I mean, I have been there, done that. I just want everybody else to have a word from you that how to have that allowance when people in front of you are choosing to be that stressful and killing themselves, and how to be there. And then
You are a brave heart.
I'm your child. I have support from you all. Thank you for that.
The thing is, once you get it, that you are the only one who can change you, and you are the only one you can change. Each one must choose to change themselves. I cannot change anybody. I
True,
can
true.
be there, I can be a catalyst for change, but I cannot change anybody except myself. So when I realize that I can change only myself, then will I go about trying to change other people? Because I know that's not going to get me anywhere. Okay. So now this is very interesting because many people have asked me this question. Then what do you do? Do you just walk away? Do you just give up? Do you just, allow people to suffer? No. There are times when physically you cannot help people because they have chosen a path they are not willing to leave. At that time, you, in your expanded state of consciousness, we expand ourselves, right? So you ask, what energetic contribution can I be to this person? What energy, what space, what consciousness can I be that would be a contribution to this person? What catalyst for change can I be that would shift and change this reality? And if each one took care of themselves, if each one worked on themselves and changed themselves, nobody would need to go out and change somebody else. The world would automatically be a different place, right, Ma?
Yes, beautiful it would be.
So we don't have to go cleaning the whole world. We just have to keep our space clean. We just have to look at, okay, so who am I being today? Like when I wake up in the morning and my feet touch the floor for the first time, I thank the earth for having me one more day. Okay. And I don't wait till the earth says, give me some help. I need some facilitation. I say, thank you so much for having me with you. And with every breath that I take today, I'm willing to be a contribution to you in whatever way that works.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that too.
So
Thanks
now,
so much.
when you are willing to be that energy of contribution for yourself and the earth and the people around you, sometimes what happens is people themselves feel like changing, which is what I meant by catalyst for change. So you have to be the change that you are looking for. And sometimes when you see that that is not working and you feel angry and upset with yourself, like, I'm doing so much, but this is not changing. Where is the question? I'm doing so much, but this is not changing is not a question. It's a conclusion.
Beautiful.
So I will do interesting point of view. I have this point of view. And if somebody says or does something, it's not that I'm not aware of it. I'm aware, I do observe everything. But I do not allow myself to become the effect of other people's stuff. Because that's not an honoring of me. So if somebody says something, it is their interesting point of view. It is just a point of view that they have. So if you are wearing glasses with dark colored lens, you will see that color. If you pink colored, you will see that. So it's their perspective. It need not be your truth. So when I am choosing to be aware, but I'm choosing my allowance to be greater, I see everything. I know everything. But it does not bother me because I look at it as, wow, that's interesting. So it doesn't have the power to affect you. So the willingness to look at everything as an interesting point of, so this is where Aradhana, I actually wanted to request everybody that you cannot look at the 10 keys and say, वो पहला और चौथा वाला मैं करूंगी बाकी तो मुझसे नहीं. You have to become the energy of the tools.
True.
And that comes with practice. So it's not like something catastrophic has happened, like, oh, how does it get any better? This has to be something that is a way of life. It's a lifestyle. That is what got me from my first bars class to my first CF class in Rome in 11 months. At 58, with no retirement benefits or nothing like that, you just ask questions and you create them. I didn't borrow a pie from anybody, not even my family. So the willingness to use the tools is a choice. To use them consistently is a choice. It's not like, oh, something has gone wrong, so now which tool should I use? No, you have been using them so consistently that you know what you need to choose at that time.
That is when I say that you're the kidding energy, Bhagya.
Oh, okay.
I can take over hours and hours from you and I can never end up, but I'm so grateful for you for being here, Bhagya, and giving us such beautiful nuggets. I would also before we go, I would let people know what classes you're coming up and what I think you have one free class every month or every Friday.
Yes.
Could you please let us know
Uh,
what all and how can
yeah.
people connect?
Yes,
We
Aradhana.
have put
Thank
the
you so
links
much.
in the chat though, how to connect with Bhagya. Anybody who wants to connect, and please, can you let us know what your next classes and workshops are
So
coming up?
about 5 years ago, somebody wanted to get together once every month to do some clearing work. But which day do we meet? People are working. Sometimes Sundays we have classes, sometimes, and then traveling across takes up so much time. So Vivek and I, we have long conversations, Vivek and my son and I. So we said, like, why does anybody have to travel? Why can't we do something online? So the Friday call, Aradhana, we've been doing it for 5 years without a break.
Wow. Was it not
So
earlier Thursday? What I remember.
earlier it was a different day, but
Thursday.
then we changed it to Friday.
Yes,
So
that's beautiful.
Murli gave me a nice name, and I edited it a bit, and we call it From Fried to Freed on Friday.
Wow, from fried to free. I love that name.
So we
Beautiful.
get together and we see what's coming up for people, and we just get together and we clear it. So that's
And it
one
is
thing.
every
Every
Friday, 9
Friday.
o'clock.
No, it is 8:30 now. From
Okay.
8:30. Yeah.
Every Friday, 8:30. And how
Yeah.
do people connect to on your website or
So
on
yeah,
any?
on the website there is.
Sure. And the
Then
website link is in the chat, guys.
and then every month, on the first Sunday of every month, we do a free call. And the link is put on my timeline. It's everywhere. So anybody can join. It's free. And it's called HOPE. HOPE stands for Honoring Our Precious Earth. So
Beautiful.
during that call, we work on ourselves. We clear our own selves so that what we give to the earth is something worth giving to. Because what do you give? You give what you have, what you are. So if you're angry, that's what you're dumping on the earth. If you're grateful, that's what you're gifting to the earth. So it is essentially just working on ourselves so that the contribution we be to the earth is worth being a contribution to the earth. So that's hope. That's every month, the first Sunday of every month.
And what time is that?
8:30.
8:30 again.
8:30 to about 1.5 hours.
Great.
I read stories and all to them also.
And then she has
Of
a lot of humor.
magic and miracles, and
Good humor.
we have some
Very
fun
good
time.
your humor around there.
Yeah, I have to have
Yes.
my
That's
humor.
good.
Actually, tomorrow night I'm a guest on an international telesummit. It's called Jazz Up Your Life with Judy, and it's a call about money.
Wow. Where can we find the link to join it?
Yeah, it is on my website also, and I'll put it. I will put it on
Even
the.
with this chat, if we can have it, yeah, that would be great.
Okay, I'll ask Vivek too. I don't
Yes.
know if he can, but
Or just message us. My team would be putting
yeah,
it
I'll
here.
message.
That'll be great.
So,
Thank-
so when we begin to see ourselves as the wealth that we are, then finding wealth outside is a piece of cake. I
Beautiful,
truly
Bhagya.
believe that I truly believe that each one is wealthy in his or her own way. The unfortunate thing is that they never see themselves like that. So, Aradhana, every call that I do, whether it's the Hope call or my Friday call or whatever, this is what I tell people. When you get off the call, please go stand in front of the mirror and you look into your eyes as if I'm looking at you. And I promise you, you will see a miracle. That's how I
And
see it.
right now, after this call, Bhagya, I'm
Yes.
on it. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so much for having me with you, Aradhana.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Bhagya. It was beautiful. And thank you, everybody who was on this call now or later listening. I'm sure these are beautiful nuggets. And how did we get so lucky to have her around? And hope this really makes difference in your life and you start choosing you and be the change you truly be and walk that path. Anybody and everybody who's interested to be on this talk show and is actually creating that change, please get in touch with all of us. You can message us, you can connect with our team. We'll be happy to have you on the show. And thank you, my team, Shivangi, Sonali, and Umesh, for all the beautiful support you all be. And thank you, everybody who's been present here today and in future. Thank you.
You are an invitation for a different reality, Aradhana. You are a brave heart. And it's easy to talk, but the strength that you are is an invitation for everybody to know that that strength is there within them also, no matter what the nature of the challenge. So many blessings, and thank you so much for having me with you. I'm honored.
Thank you on it too. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.